A very good evening to all. It's time for Children's Bedtime Treasury with Let Emotion Speak. Don't forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe to my channel for more bedtime stories. Today's story is about Bobby's best birthday present. It was the morning of Bobby's birthday, and he was very excited. When he came down to breakfast, there on the table was a pile of presents. Bobby opened them one by one. There was a beautiful book with pictures of wild animals, a toy racing car, and a cap. Bobby was very pleased with his presents. But where was the present from his parents? "Close your eyes and hold out your hands," said his mother. When he opened his eyes, there was a large rectangular parcel in his hands. Bobby tore off the wrapping, and inside was a box. And inside the box was a wonderful, shiny electric train set. For a moment, Bobby looked at the train set lying in the box. It was so lovely he could hardly bear to touch it. There was an engine and 6 carriages, all lying neatly on their sides. Bobby carefully lifted the engine out of the box. Then he set up the track, and soon he had the train whizzing around his bedroom floor. Freddy the cat came in and watched the train going round. Round and round he watched it go. Then one time, when the train came past him, he swiped at it with his paw and derailed it. The engine and the 6 carriages came tumbling off the track and landed in a heap on the floor. "Look what you've done!" wailed Bobby as he picked up the train and reassembled it. The carriages were undamaged, but the engine had hit the side of his bed and was badly dented. Bobby was very upset. "My brand new train is ruined," he cried. "Don't worry, Bobby," said his mother. "We can't take it back to the shop now, but we can take it to the toy mender in the morning. I'm sure he'll make a good job of mending the engine, and it will look as good as new again." Bobby played with his racing car. He wore his new cap and he read his new book. But really all he wanted to do was to play with the train set. He went to bed that night with the engine on the floor near his bed. In the morning, when Bobby woke up, the first thing he did was to look at the poor broken engine of his train set. He picked it up, expecting to see the buckled metal, but the engine was perfect. He couldn't believe his eyes. He ran to his parents. "Look, look," he cried. They were as amazed as he was. The engine worked perfectly, and Bobby played happily with his train set all day, but he made sure Freddy kept out of his room. That night, Bobby couldn't sleep. He lay in bed tossing and turning. Then he heard a noise. It was the sound of his train set rushing round the track. He peered into the darkness, and yes, he could definitely make out the shape of the train as it sped by. How had the train started? It couldn't start all by itself. Had Freddy crept in his room and flicked the switch? As his eyes gradually became accustomed to the dark, Bobby could make out several shapes in the carriages. Who were the mysterious passengers? He slid out of bed and onto the floor beside the train set. Now he could see that the passengers were little people wearing strange pointed hats and leafy costumes. "Elves?" thought Bobby. At that moment, one of the elves spotted Bobby. "Hello there," he called as the train rushed past again. "We saw that your train set was broken. We so much wanted a ride that we fixed it. I hope you don't mind." Bobby was too astounded to say anything at all. "Come with us for a ride," called the elf as his carriage approached again. As the train passed him, the elf leaned out of the carriage and grabbed Bobby by the hand. Bobby felt himself shrinking as he flew through the air, and the next instant he was sitting beside the elf in the carriage of his very own train set. "Here we go! Hold tight!" called the elf. As the train left the track and went out through the window into the sky. "Now, where would you like to go?" "What would you like to see?" asked the elf. "Toyland," replied Bobby without hesitation. Sure enough, the train headed towards a track which curved up a mountain made of pink and white sugar. Beside the track were toys going about their daily business. Bobby saw a rag doll getting into a shiny tin car, then a wooden sailor puppet wound up the car with a large key, and off went the doll. He saw 3 teddy bears setting off for school with their bags on their backs. Then he saw a brightly colored clown playing a drum. The train stopped and Bobby and the elves got out. "Now for some fun," said one of the elves. They had come to a halt by a toy fairground. Bobby found that this was like no other fairground he had ever seen before. For in Toyland, all the rides are real. The horses on the carousel were real horses. The dog-dim cars were real cars. And when he got in the rocket for the rocket ride, it took him to the moon and all the way back. "Time to go, Bobby," said one of the elves at last. "It will be morning soon." Bobby climbed wearily back into the train and soon he was fast asleep. When he woke up, it was morning and he was back in his bed. The train set lay quite still on its tracks, but in one of the carriages was a scrap of paper, and on the paper, in tiny spidery writing, were the words, "We hope you enjoyed your trip to Toyland, the elves." So kids, did you enjoy this magical story? Now it's time to say goodbye and good night. See you tomorrow with another bedtime story.